Welcome to week 13 year of college football time with Avery Miguel. I'm Miguel Medina. This is my partner, Avery Jones. Avery, next week is Thanksgiving. Um, College football, it gets interesting. The very first game that grabs my attention, and it's one of my favorite to keep an eye on for this weekend. And these are two ranked teams, USC versus Oregon.
Yes, definitely.
It's I can't wait for this matchup. I
Yes,
can't wait. Go ahead.
yes. This is one of those matchups. If you were looking at it at the beginning of the year, you wouldn't think there was any excitement about it. But this is a very, very intriguing matchup. Not only do you have USC, making that surge back up into the top 25, have Oregon had really good prime position until they got beat by Indiana earlier in the year, and now they're creeping back in to the playoff conversation. And this is a really good matchup for both teams. You have USC that can knock off Oregon, but you have Oregon that can solidify itself in the conference talk and take out this emerging Trojan offense.
The Trojans, they struggle this season against the run. So, but again, when it comes to offense, that's a team that you should say, you don't want to underestimate. You don't want to underestimate USC's offense. But the defense, they've been a hit or miss this year. But again, this is one of those matchups that it could go either way. But if I'm Oregon, I would say rush attack. Rush attack on USC. And but something tells me there's gonna be a high scoring game between
I
both.
I agree. Oregon, they're playing at home. I think this could be a high scoring game as well. I'm going to give it to Oregon because they're playing at home, and I've made the statement that playing at home as a college team is a good effect. So I'm Oregon on this. I'm this is my pick of the week, knowing that there's a lot at stake for both teams. So I am going with Oregon. I am going for the high scoring game. I'm going Oregon 45, USC 42.
Honest, I got Oregon winning 41-36 in this one. Next up, another one, a good one, Missouri versus Oklahoma, number 22 versus number 8. Oklahoma, they didn't have their best game against Alabama. The defense carried the load, but they are feeling good that they'll be coming back home and play at home. So I have a, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma on this one. I'm gonna say 27-18.
Yeah, or even though Oklahoma didn't have the best game, a win is a win. Missouri this entire season has, kind of been a surprise, but we really shouldn't be surprised with Missouri in the past couple years. They've always had really strong starts. It's just occasionally once they get, those those teams where they just struggle a bit, that's when it takes effect. But look for Missouri to try to bring the fight to Oklahoma. You have Missouri that still want to solidify themselves in the SEC as a contender. Still might take a while, but they want to make sure that they can be a team that you're going to play them, you're going to take them seriously. And we've mentioned that this year with some teams that aren't getting, enough respect, that aren't getting, the recognition. Missouri is one of those teams. Hope Oklahoma is not going to consider Missouri in and not take them seriously because Missouri's, while sometimes hotter, can get the job done, and also for their game to take control if Oklahoma's defense is not locked in. So Oklahoma is playing at home, am going to give the edge to Oklahoma, but I'm going to give them a touchdown in order to do it. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma 30, Missouri 23. But I say this game is going to be really close up until the quarter. Then Oklahoma is gonna run away with it.
Big 12, Kansas State versus Utah. Um, it's always exciting to see conference games, and there's just something about the Big 12 teams that when they collide, um, is gonna they could give you like that cinema feel, high drama. So, but the way Utah's been playing this year, you can go against them. That defense legit. That team, is tenacious. So I'm gonna go with Utah on this one. I'm gonna say 28-18.
Yeah, Utah's fantastic along with their other in-state rival BYU. So Utah is just on all cylinders right now. And the best thing for them is just to have a very decisive victory. And I think this could be the game just had last. I think their offense is go into overdrive. So yeah, definitely I'm gonna Utah 42, yeah, 42 to 20. I think Utah is just gonna control. I think Utah is just gonna take control and that offense is just gonna clean up.
This one has potential to be an exciting game, but I don't want it to be a tie game. I want it to be decisively, and that is Miami versus Virginia Tech. It's a noon game. I do feel that Miami needs to win these next two games decisively to be taken more seriously. And James Franklin is the new commander in chief for the Virginia Tech. Same face, new place. When one door closes, another one opens. So he's coming to Virginia Tech. And I'll be honest with you, Avery, I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do next year with this group.
Yeah, this is a very interesting matchup considering going from Big Ten to AC. So this can be a decisive game for Miami. Virginia had some real games this season. Their against Florida State, I think was kind of their peak, but Miami right now, where they're positioned, they do need a decisive win, and unfortunately, it may come at the expense of Virginia Tech. So Miami needs to be in control of their offense to not make any, forcible throws that cause takeaways. Their defense, needs to be the dogs that they are, for that wonderful hurricane tradition of that deep just being, a menace to society, if you will. So I think he needs to go, they need to take control, they need to win aggressively. Also, it helps them in the ACC ranking. A little help from a couple other teams that are playing this weekend, but my done this is their shot, getting into the playoff. Questions and no controversy. I am going to go with Miami on this one, and it needs to be a decisive win. So I'm going to go Miami 30, Virginia Tech 15.
A game that I feel has potential to be a very good one, and this is an ACC matchup, Pitt versus Georgia Tech at 7 p.m. on ESPN. This is one of those games where it could go either way, but I do not see this game whatsoever to be decisive. I see this as a tie game. Yes, Pitt lost to Notre Dame, but I don't care if they're going to be on the road against Georgia Tech. I have a feeling they're going to perform much better. But overall, I'm going to go with Georgia Tech on this one, 30-27.
Yeah, I actually this was one of the two games that can actually help Miami. And after Miami plays their game, they're going to be watching this one because Jordan needs to take down Pitt and help Miami. Even though Georgia Tech is a thorn in the Hurricane side. I think Tech has, all day. Georgia Tech, of course, playing at home. They they, they had like a good first half game against Notre Dame, but now complete game. Georgia Tech is just locked in right now. They want to take advantage they have and for Pitt into I don't think the Yellow Jackets are gonna have any issues with it. So I think this is also another decisive win for Tech. I'm going with Georgia Tech 32, Pitt 12.
Tennessee at Florida. Another one right there at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. I have Tennessee winning that game 35 to 29.
Yeah, that's high scoring for Florida. I think Tennessee good this season at games where they should have won. They just couldn't finish what to be done. This is kind of an old rivalry, and knowing that Tennessee kind of well, no, they absolutely can. Like they can beat Florida. So what they want to do is they're going to beat Florida. They're going to beat Florida badly. You're giving Florida a lot of credit for all those points, but Tennessee is going to be like, hey, not today. So, definitely overwhelming going with Tennessee on this, but I'm going Tennessee 42 17.
Last but not least, another Big 12 showdown. BYU at Cincinnati. Night game, 8 p.m. on Fox. I have this one is a little complicated for me. I wouldn't be upset if either or team's winning, but I'm gonna say Cincinnati win it in overtime.
Hey, that look at the schedule and that Cincinnati has played spoiler this. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati gets the upset. And Cincinnati has contributed to some upsets where, we're just surprised. So I hope BYU is taking Cincinnati. If they are not, they are going to be very, very disappointed and they are going to be very, very surprised if they lose. But it'll be their own fault. I think really, really close. And once any that program, but need a bit more for them to, to be in the headlines, if you will. I'm gonna go with BYU on this one, but I think it's gonna be kind of like the comeback win last week for Texas A&M and South Carolina. I think Cincinnati is going to take control. I think BYU is going to be shocked by Cincinnati's ferociousness. So, but I'm going to go BYU. I'm calling it overtime game, but we um too.
And to wrap it up, Avery, recently the 10 semifinalists have been announced for the 2025 Doak Walker Award. And this award, for those of you who don't know, this award is for honoring the most outstanding running backs this year in college football. This has been awarded since 1990. That was the very first one. And last year's winner was Ashton Genty, which he plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. So here are the 10 semifinalists. Cam Cook out of Jacksonville State, Cameron Dickey from Texas Tech, Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, Caleb Hawkins from North Texas, Robert Henry Jr. from UTSA, Emmett Johnson from Nebraska, Keelan Lacey, Ole Miss, congrats. Jeremiah Love, my guy, Notre Dame. Antoine Raymond, Rutgers. I know I cover Rutgers, so congrats to him. And last but not least, Lucky Son from San Diego State. Now, Avery, I don't know if I know you're familiar with a few of these, but if you would have to pick 2 out of 10 that have the greatest potential to win this award, who would it be?
You know, that's a very eclectic group of gentlemen that have played this season. Uh, Definitely Notre Dame. Definitely our friend from Notre Dame. And our friend from Rutgers as well. I think their play season has been very consistent. Even though Rutgers isn't in a position for their football team, I think play completely consistent. Same thing with Notre Dame. They've been completely consistent this entire year. Our friend from Texas Tech is close, so the definitely those two, three. I mean, they've been stellar for their teams this year. That could be a to trying to say this is this ball. But I think those are very consistent for their teams. Even though you kind of want to look, well, what is doing the best in that? Who's had really good consistent play, and I think gentlemen have this entire season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Love on this one. It's hard to root against him.
Yeah.
He's just been amazing for Notre Dame. But guys, that does it for our week 13 previews of here of college football. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to the games this weekend, and we'll be back here for Monday to give you guys our thoughts on what happened this weekend. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Avery. As for the rest of you, if you guys enjoy this content, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, be safe and may God bless each and every one of you. Take care, Avery. Hopefully, we have a great Saturday.
Absolutely. College football, rounding up a wonderful year, full of surprises. And we will probably see more surprises this weekend. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be safe.